Here.
Jeff Elshoff.
Here.
Jeff Haas.
Here.
Betty Martine.
Here.
Justin Smith.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Wonderful. And with all of our meetings, we'll go ahead and open with a moment of silent prayer, if you'll join me in that. Amen. Now please rise and join us in the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to welcome everybody to your regularly scheduled meeting of your Bel Aire City Council here on February 20th of 2018. The first thing to come before Council this evening is the consent agenda, which simply consists of the minutes from our February 6th, 2018 City Council meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, moving right along. Next item is Appropriations Ordinance 18-04. The appropriations ordinance for this time totals $484,330.07. If there's any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'm making a motion that we approve the appropriations ordinance 18-004.
Second.
First and second, questions or comments on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we have two proclamations, and I don't believe there's anyone here with the National Speech and Debate Education Day or the American Red Cross. However, I will go ahead and read the proclamations and sign them and let the city clerk enter them and send them back with the official signatures. First one is American Red Cross Month for March 2018. To the citizens of Bel Aire, Kansas, greetings. Whereas March is American Red Cross Month, a special time to recognize and thank our heroes, those who volunteer, take life-saving courses, or provide financial donations to support an organization whose mission is to help those in need. And whereas we would like to remember those who help all of us here in Bel Aire, Kansas by giving their time to help their neighbor and thank our heroes, our volunteers, class takers, and supporters who help us assist those in need. And whereas in the city of Bel Aire, the American Red Cross works tirelessly through its employees and thousands of volunteers to help when disaster strikes, when someone needs life-saving blood or the comfort of a helping hand. It provides a 24-hour support to members of the military, veterans, and their families. And it also provides training in CPR, aquatic safety, and first aid. And whereas across the country, the American Red Cross responds to nearly 70,000 disasters a year and provides some 400,000 services to military members, veterans, and civilians, collects and distributes about 40% of the nation's blood supply, and trains more than 7 million people in first aid, water safety, and other life-saving skills every year. And whereas our community depends on the American Red Cross, which relies on donations of time, money, and blood to fulfill its humanitarian mission, despite these challenging economic times, the American Red Cross continues to help and comfort those in need. Now, therefore, I, David Austin, Mayor of the City of Bel Aire, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim March 2018 as Red Cross Month in Bel Aire. Ask if you pass that to City Clerk, please. Next is recognizing National Speech and Debate Education Day. To the citizens of Bel Aire, Kansas. Whereas National Speech and Debate Education Day is being celebrated on March 2nd, 2018. whereas established by the National Speech and Debate Association in conjunction with national and local partners, this event serves to promote better instruction in speech and debate across all grade levels and to highlight the pivotal roles these abilities play in personal advocacy, social movements, and public policy. And whereas speech and debate education helps students develop important skills in communication, critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration through the practice of public speaking, participants learn not only to analyze and express complex ideals effectively, but also to listen, conjure questions, or dissent with reason and compassion. And whereas across the country, countless educators devoted in school, after school, and weekend time to supporting their students in speech and debate practices and competitions. The example of hard work and dedication they set has lasting positive impact on their pupils. Whereas the skills learned through speech and debate serve students well throughout their lives, and this occasion presents a welcome opportunity to recognize such instruction as an essential component of a well-rounded curriculum. Now, therefore, I, David Austin, Mayor of the City of Bel Aire, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim March 2nd, 2018 as National Speech and Debate Education Day in Bel Aire. Sign that, and pass that down to the clerk. Next is citizens' concerns. If there's anyone wishing to address the council, they may do so at this time. Seeing none, we will move on to reports. And we'll start this time with Councilmember Elsoff.
I have no report.
I just have a couple of comments to make tonight. I did attend the Sedgwick County Association of Cities meeting in Cheney on Saturday, February the 10th. The U.S. Deputy Sheriff's Association did a presentation at that meeting, and I didn't know what they did, but they're actually an association that provides free safety equipment and training to law enforcement agencies. I was really excited at that meeting to hear Bel Aire called out as an example of one of the cities that's taken advantage of their services. I think we were the only city that was represented that actually knew of this service and had taken advantage of it. So I just wanted to give some kudos to Chief Atterbury for using all the resources at his disposal and saving our taxpayers some money. I think that's great. And I also had the privilege of doing a ride along with our Bel Aire police a couple weeks ago with Officer Trumbull, and it was really great to get to see our police in action and learn more about what they do day to day. I did want to mention one thing that stood out to me during that ride along was maybe a potential safety issue or a potential opportunity with the crosswalk on 45th Street near Sunrise. We were kind of driving along at night, and there were some students using that crosswalk, and we couldn't hardly see them because there's no lighting on either side of the road there. And so I don't know if that's something that we can look into and discuss some potential options for at a future council meeting, but I wanted to bring that up.
Appreciate that.
So that's all I've got.
Councilmember Martin.
About the only thing I have to report this time is I was out early this morning, and I would like to personally thank the maintenance crew for clearing the thoroughfares or the main roads in Bel Aire. They did a wonderful job. I went to two towns north of us, won't mention their names, but their roads were terrible. I mean, people were sliding and slipping all over, but our guys were out early this morning. I saw one truck go by about 6:15 this morning, and he was scooting on down Woodlawn, but those roads were cleared. So just a great big thank you to the maintenance for a job well done. That's all, Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Benach.
Yeah, two items to discuss. One, I was honored to be invited to a citizens presentation discussion with the Boy Scouts Troop 585. This is a requirement for rank advancement, and so they invited me to come and discuss elective office, and we discussed how local government has the biggest impact on folks that make decisions about the streets and drainage, sewer, water, zoning, fire protection, police protection, and all those. It was fun to have a discussion with the kids, and took about 10 or 15 minutes, so it was a good thing. I also attended the WAMPO meeting on February 13th, and Mayor Longwell from Wichita spoke at that meeting. He had just come back from a meeting with the president at the White House the day before, And they're looking at an infrastructure bill, and I think probably you've heard about this in the news, but the two highlights that came out of there is that they're looking at 20% funding from the feds for projects that cities, states, and private businesses fund the rest. That may not be an opportunity for Bel Aire that we can take advantage of. There also is some discussion about additional money for rural infrastructure, and that was of interest when I learned that K-254 east of Woodlawn is considered rural, even though that's the border of Wampo. It's considered a rural road, so there might be some opportunities there. We'll have to see what the final legislation looks like when it comes out. So they also talked about they made 6 transportation improvement program amendments that were approved at that meeting. 4 related to moving projects in from 2019 into 2018. One was a cost increase for Wichita Transit to buy some buses, about $500,000 increase. And one was a cost increase for Wichita for pedestrian bicycle path at Redbud from K96 to 159. And that was to address some additional drainage structures. That was about $1 million increase. It was $1 million project, and they increased it to $2 million. So, also reviewed and approved. They also reviewed and approved something they call MAP 21 and MOVE 2040 safety performance measures. These are measures that they've come up with for serious accidents and deaths within the WAMPO jurisdiction. There are 12 performance measures that they've come up with. 4 are mandated by federal law. They approved these mandates, but there's a little bit of funny thing about these mandates is they cover the entire area that WAMPO is responsible covers, but WAMPO only has input on arterials. They don't have input on, like if you had an accident at 48th and Baton, a serious accident there, they'd have no input to that whatsoever, not on design, construction, or anything, but that has to go into their metric. So that's, all over the city of Wichita, and I don't know how far out, if WAMPO goes out to Cheney, I'm not sure how far out they go. But most of the areas in this area are in the WAMPO area. So it's kind of a funny law. I did send a note to Ron Estridge to request that they look at that seriously and maybe get that requirement out of there, because they're giving that organization responsibility for something they have no control over, or only partial impact to. Okay, so, and then there was a little bit of discrepancy in some data. They said that overall the serious accidents have declined over the last few years, but the deaths due to accident has increased. That didn't seem to fit well. So I asked them to look into, hey, what's going on there that's making that. Maybe it's a data entry error, I don't know, but something they looked at, I thought. So anyway, on that, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have to report. Thank you.
All right. So Member Hawes?
I have no report, Mr. Mayor.
Appreciate it. I have no formal report, but do want to, first of all, I want to recognize someone in our audience tonight. Mayor John Spear from the city of Keachai is here. Had a good relationship with him for a number of years, and he and I actually met prior to the election, and we've had a conversation with other local mayors, and you saw in the city manager's weekly update talked about the fact that he had met with he and the city administrator there from the city of Keachai, talking about putting together a development association for 254. And the idea there is to get buy-in from all of the cities along that highway there, KT54, all the way from El Dorado into Wichita. So that way, eventually, we'd like to include businesses, and the end goal is to, that way we have a unified voice and work together as we attract businesses and work together. That's good for the entire community. Did mention, I know 254, we've already talked a little bit about that today, but with the accidents there, that is something that I would be very interested in. And I know had one council member who's mentioned it to me as well, just looking at the what can be done to improve the safety on 254. We lost a young lady, high school student from a Circle High School not that long ago, who, as you know, that school district dips into a good portion of Bel Aire as well. So something that could be part of that agenda as well to look forward to would be, I know something, like I said, Councilmember Hawes and myself, I know, and sure we want to see improvement of safety on 254. So, and I'm glad to see with the Unified Voice too, working to collect stuff, and we are stronger together as a community, and that's something I appreciate about all the regional managers, whether it be Mayor Spear or Mayor Mann or Mayor Longwell. We've all just had really good conversations and looking to move all of us forward. So appreciate that, and I appreciate you being here tonight, sir. We're honored to have you with us tonight. With that, I do also want to let everybody know that we have a CCUA meeting on Thursday that starts at 4:30. So that'll be held here. The CCUA meetings this year are in Bel Aire. Then want to echo what Councilmember Martine talked about with the street crews. I was very impressed to see them out, and that lightning storm was pretty impressive this morning. So there's no one who was asleep at 6 o'clock this morning, I don't think.
That's for sure.
When all that was going on. Then also over the weekend, got as an invited participant to the statewide GOP convention, and I met most of these before, but it was neat to be introduced and be able to talk shop a little bit with some of our local elected officials, including Congressman Estes and U.S. Congressman Marshall, who I know that's not in our district, but he knew where Bel Aire was, so that was exciting. And U.S. Senator Pat Roberts and all the governor candidates were there, and just I made sure if they didn't know where Bel Aire was, they do, and they at least pretended to. So with that, I will pass it on to our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a couple special recognitions that we received this week that I wanted to share with the council and the citizens. Bel Aire was ranked in the top 10 of the most popular small towns to relocate to in the U.S. And that was, we were number 10 of the 100 most popular small towns by Move Buddha is the name of the organization.
Wait, who was that by?
Move Buddha. So what they do is they look at ways that people move from place to place, and they can go to this website and they help them, identify locations and such. And so what they do is they rank the cities by the amount of, well, first of all, cities under 10,000, but that people were using to gather data about the most popular cities. And so apparently there's people that are interested in Bel Aire that are actually using this website to gather information, and because of that we were ranked number 10 of 100 that they surveyed or identified that people look to move to. So that's great that out of the U.S. we're number 10, and I think there were there were 4 other Kansas cities that made the list, but none of them were in the top 10. So I think that's a positive that people are interested in Bel Aire. And then the other one is we received a bronze level award for breastfeeding employee support. So the city has policies in place. We have a lot of young ladies that work here, and so we have policies in place where young ladies that have babies, they can pump or things like that here, and so it basically affirms that we're a family-friendly employer, and we're concerned about the health and well-being of our employees. So that's a positive, type of organization that we have here. So that's all I had, Mayor.
All right. A lot of good news there to get awards like that and national recognition. That's fantastic. With that, we're going to move into ordinances, resolutions, and final actions. No, we're not, because I skipped the City Attorney, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I do not have a report this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Well, then that's what I meant to do. So sorry. Got ahead of myself there. Okay. We'll move into final actions, which the first item is item A, review of the 2017 Bel Aire Land Bank Annual Report. Our land bank is required to submit an annual report to the governing body. The 2017 report identifies all the parcels that are owned by the land bank, as well as financial information. I know some of that had some questions recently that came up about that for some of the new council members. So the land bank has a current balance of $669,378.38. Those are after expenses were paid from the land sales. So again, this is just to approve the annual report, kind of going through the formalities here. Any questions or comments? No? Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move to receive and file the Bel Aire Land Bank annual report.
Second.
First and second, any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item B is to consideration of an agreement for professional services with Garver LLC. This is for inspection services in Phase 2 of Rock Springs Second Edition. On all of the public infrastructure projects, the city requires inspections be completed to ensure installation and products. We have to make sure those meet city codes. The inspector is contracted through an engineering firm, which is doing tonight. So for Rock Springs Second Phase 2, staff would like to utilize the inspector from Garver Engineering. The cost of the inspections is included in the project cost, and they're spread as special assessments to the benefiting properties. So, yeah, no cost back to our taxpayers. Anybody want to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the professional services agreement with Garver LLC in concept including the hourly rate not to exceed the fee of $17,600, subject to city attorney revisions to final language and authorize the mayor to sign.
I'll second.
First and second, any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, C and D are appointments to our tree board and to our community development advisory committee. And I do need to apologize. We did have one application that we didn't get onto this agenda, but we do have another meeting before their next community development committee meeting. And I know of at least 4 others who have sent in the questionnaire that we have, or in the process of doing that. So fully expect us to have 5 more names at the next meeting. And again, apologize that we did not get the other ones sent out to everybody, but we'll get a slew of them. And that committee is rock and rolling right now. They are small but mighty, and working on the Spring Festival right now. But the first thing before that is to consider reappointing Connie Kabbalah to the Bel Aire Tree Board. This new term would run through 2019. And she's been a member on the tree board. This will be her 3rd term, is it? Or is it just her 2nd? I know she's been, I think this may be her 2nd 4-year term. Yeah, but she's regular attender, and I think she should stay on.
Just a question, is that a 4-year term? If you reappoint them now, would that not be due in 2022?
It'd actually be a 2-year term.
It's 2 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 years.
Okay.
She served 4 years, two
So
years.
it says next term would be 2019,
Yeah.
which is next year, so, okay.
So yeah, we're actually a little bit behind on that. Probably should have done this in December, but
Okay.
yeah, we'll get up there. So,
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
I make a motion to confirm the mayor's reappointment of Connie Kabbalah to Bel Aire Tree Board.
Second.
First and second, any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item D is consideration of reappointing Danielle Fisher to the Community Development Advisory Committee. And this would also be a 2-year term, and same thing, but would run through 2019. And Danielle's probably been about one of the most active. Everything we saw for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony was pretty much stuff that she brought from her house and had her kids out here, and is a wonderful addition to that committee. Her appointment. So I would entertain a motion to confirm her reappointment.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I make a motion to confirm the mayor's reappointment of Danielle Fisher to the Bel Aire Community Development Advisory Committee.
Second.
Have first and second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And that brings us to the end of our regular agenda. So this short meeting, I'm kind of liking these city managers. But future issues, do want to remind everybody, we have a workshop on Thursday, which is a different day than we normally do it. As you know, we kind of a pretty full packet, which all of you have a copy of that, and it's at 6 o'clock this Thursday. We're going to look at the master development plan, which is something that's been in the works for, oh golly, quite a while for now, but to look at that and see where we are with all the different changes, and that'll be really exciting to see where we are with that. We're also going to look at bids from engineer companies for the Woodlawn expansion, Woodlawn reconstruction project. Again, this is just to pick an engineering company that goes out and does all the studies, and then will report back to us at a later time on the options and cost and everything, so that we can move forward on the Woodlawn expansion project later this year. And we'll look at the priority list of street repairs. I know all of us heard about that not too long ago as we were knocking on doors, and that is something that Ann has, our city engineers, put together. She'll bring that and show that, and we can really look at where we are. And so we know, you guys have heard, we did a major project, 53rd Street, that just had to be done, that dipped in a little bit this year. We'll find a way to make sure we get some street repairs done in 2018. And then we're also going to look at the agreement with Sunrise Christian Academy. They use our rec facilities in the spring when nobody else is using them. And then we're just going to kind of start taking a look at some of our policies. So that is on a full agenda for the workshop. It is at 6 o'clock on Thursday. That's all I have. And I have no need for an executive session. No? If not, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:28 already.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sign. Are adjourned.